big plays. I have some brochures from those plays also in the collection. Even have some tickets. They had the place big enough. And by the way, the auditorium at the old school was upstairs. The gymnasium was upstairs. I mean, the high school regulation ball court was upstairs.
Yeah, I could picture hearing that if you were doing something downstairs.
Yeah, first grade class was right underneath. I could remember it very well. But it's very colorful history. And especially when you start pulling all these other things in, and then you read the stories about what actually happened. It has the cast of the plays, the actors on the brochures.
Wonderful. And were you in on any of those donkey basketball tournaments?
I never did have the nerve to try that, but yeah, I do remember those. That was a big deal.
Yeah. I'm hearing that. People keep bringing it
That
up.
was a big deal. I was in one play that was actually right on this stage. The title was The Hopes of Hogan's Holler. It was a comedy, and we brought the house down. It was. I can remember that very well.
And about how old were you when you were in that?
I was in the 7th grade, so I would have been 10, probably 7. 13, 14. Yep.
And everybody in the community would turn out for you?
Oh, we had a huge crowd. The gym floor was packed. I mean, this place was packed.
Very.
It was, people really got out.
It really was community.
It was a community. And you didn't say anything bad about our community.
I haven't heard anything bad.
It was, we were really quite possessive.
Well, I thank you. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Mm.
We may be coming back.
Well, if you want to come back, I will get some of this out. We'll actually copy some of it if you'd like.
Lovely.
I have lots of books in history. Actually, I have some flight log books. My wife's uncle, he was a Navy test pilot in World War II. And these are his actual books where he logged his flights.
And he was from Haldeman.
He was from Haldeman, a graduate of this high school. So was his wife, my wife's aunt. Matter of fact, she's at my home this morning. She's 93.
Your wife's aunt?
My wife's aunt is, yeah.
Wow.
So it's, on any given day in his history, you've got page after page of, well, he flew the old Corsairs, the ones that everybody familiar with the Black Sheep movie. He flew one of those planes, not in the movie, but that type, you know. And he did his flight training in an open cockpit biplane. So that tells you how far back it goes. And then he also flew a jet, so he was through that whole era.
Did he stay in the military, or when he left, he did something
He actually stayed in the reserves until, I believe it was 1962. So he did some flying up until then.
And his name again?
Chester Kelly.
Chester Kelly.
You may have
I've
seen.
come across that name.
You have. There was a big article in the newspaper about 2 years ago. They interviewed him in his home. And he passed away a year ago, this past November. But he was 90. And a lot of very colorful man. I left here to talk. He could tell us some history, but you know, we better grab this while we can because he's going to be gone.
Yeah, that's why these interviews are really important, and putting all of, you know, people have bits and pieces here and there and trying to put it together. I think because we've already lost a lot of really rich stories, or at least the fullness of them, you know, from people past.
This book actually has some very, very rich stories in it. Even about PTA meetings here at the school. Somebody evidently in those days just would take notes and then
Write everything down.
write everything down, and this this gentleman got them all together and put them in the form of a book. So it's I've looked at it a lot of times. You know, sometimes raise some eyebrows, but it's very interesting, and I wish people will get more interested in the history of their communities.
Well, maybe through us pulling some things together and packaging it in a different way, maybe we can help with that process.
And being a resident and a citizen of this county, this will go in addition to the little story about our test pilot. This is his commission paper. That's very interesting.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, he had a brother that was also in the service.
He did. Jack was his name. They both went together to Jacksonville to get started. And it was, Jack stayed on the ground and Chester decided he wanted to fly. So they were, both of them from right here. And I know there's a lot of others who have great military history that came from our area.
Well, we thank you.
You're welcome, and I'll keep digging up history.
Thank you much. And then Megan, if you can get a picture of Mr. Knipp sitting there.